Greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where we are discussing climate change, abrupt climate change, things adjacent, all various and sundry associated with climate change. It's a very large umbrella. Yeah. So I'm just going to cover few things today, some random things, all important things. This is from Reuters. From today, Afghanistan floods kill 32, worsen already desperate situation. So I read something about Afghanistan floods. Was it a few weeks ago? I don't know. They've been having an ongoing flood situation, extreme rainy season. What other places are experiencing? Not excluding the United States. This is from Afghanistan. Flash floods have killed at least 32 people in western Afghanistan, destroyed homes, and swept through makeshift shelters that housed displaced families, a government official said on Saturday. Flooding caused by heavy rain started spreading on Thursday and left a trail of devastation across 7 provinces, said Hazbullah Shirkhani, a spokesman for Afghanistan's National Disaster Management Authority. Another 12 people were missing and more than 700 houses were destroyed or severely damaged, he added. The floods worsened an already desperate situation. Hundreds of thousands of people were displaced in the region by last year's severe drought and the 17-year-long war with the Taliban. Who was at war with the United States is at war. The people of Afghanistan are at war with the Taliban, really? Let's get factual about that. My house and my farmland have been destroyed by floods. Although, look, I'm not an expert on Afghani politics. I don't know the actuals. I'm sure people in the country are against the Taliban, but from what I know here, we are the spreaders of destruction. We are the ones that decided we needed to go into Afghanistan and go, get people who didn't get for a long time. And then we got them, and then we're still there. Donald Trump said it point blank and bluntly. We need to stay there because of the resources. Poppies, anybody? Heroin? So ridiculous. And we're okay with that. The American people are fine with that. Whatever you guys want to do, go USA. Support your military. Yeah. Moving on to an article that I meant to read yesterday and did not get a chance. This is titled Amphibian Apocalypse, Caused by Most Destructive Pathogen Ever. This is from National Geographic. The first ever global tally of the disease's toll reveals that it caused declines in at least 501 frog and salamander species. For decades, the silent killer has slaughtered frogs and salamanders around the world by eating their skins alive. Ooh. Now, a global team of 41 scientists has announced that the pathogen, which humans unwittingly spread around the world, has damaged global biodiversity more than any other disease ever recorded. Yay, humans! The new study published in Science on Thursday is the first comprehensive tally of the damage done by the chytrid fungi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Batrachochytrium dendrobatitis, or otherwise known as BD. And all, and then there's a salamandrivorians, a salamander version, otherwise known as B-sal. And all the fungi have driven the declines of at least 501 amphibian species, or about 1 out of every 16 known to science. Of the chytrid-stricken species, 90 have gone extinct or are presumed extinct in the wild. Another 124 species have declined in number by more than 90%. All but one of the 501 declines was caused by BD. We've known that chytrid's really bad, but we didn't know how bad it was. And it's much worse than previous early estimates, said the study leader, Ben Shiel, an ecologist at Australian National University. Our new results put it on the same scale in terms of damage to biodiversity as rats, cats, and other invasive species. Shiel has seen the fungus's carnage firsthand at one of his field sites in Australia. An extended El Nino fueled mass frog breeding and dispersal, letting BD spread as never before. Before the fungus, populations of the alpine tree frog were so abundant there, he had to watch his step when he went out at night. Now the species is nearly impossible to find. Saddened and shocked, Shiel resolved to put the numbers to the decline. 4 years and innumerable email conversations later, Shiel's team has finally combined all known reports of chytrid declines into a single consistent database revealing BD and BSAL's record-breaking toll. Chytrid fungus is the most destructive pathogen ever described by science. That's a pretty shocking realization. Adds Wendy Palin, a biologist at Simon Fraser University in British Columbia, who wrote about the study for Science. The bulk of amphibian die-offs occurred in the 1980s, when the disease began to circulate around the globe, with a second uptick in mortality in South America in the mid-2000s. Many of the affected frogs live in Central and South America, though outbreaks also occur across Europe, North America, Australia, and Africa. There are no known declines from Asia, where the fungus has coexisted for millions of years. What's more, the study's counts are conservative. Early die-offs from the 1950s and 1960s in Europe and North America aren't included for lack of evidence, and the 501 species tallied are just the ones that scientists know about. Researchers keep identifying new species of frogs, even after they've been nearly wiped out in the wild. Study's authors hope that new research will act as a call to arms against the pandemic. The fungus can be spread by touch or by water. BD spores can swim a short distance. If conditions are right, the fungus can live outside of its host for weeks to months, maybe even years at a time. As National Geographic has previously reported, BD snuck up on researchers much like a fictional zombie plague. Scientists first started noticing frog die-offs in the 1970s, but researchers didn't realize these enigmatic declines were a global phenomenon until the 1990s. Researchers described BD in 1997. Within a decade, it was the top suspect in the killings. Holy moly. Well, so add more species decline, more wildlife wipeouts, and this is how it's going. Let's capture all these guys and put them in a safe space. We're going to have to do that for all of wildlife, right? What is that movie? I think I've talked about it before. Is it Inner Space? Where they send out is it? Hold on one second. Sorry, Inner Space is like a comedy bullshit movie. Silent Running, sorry. Every time I think about this movie, I forget what the title is. Silent Running with Bruce Dern, which is a really amazing movie. One of my favorites, which is why I can remember the title. Anyways, so they send this guy out to space with like the last remaining forests and ecosystems. And this is what we'll be doing soon. Most likely, I'm sure that there will be talk of like doming some wildlife somewhere on the planet and trying to sustain whatever we have left of our ecosystems. And again, so this pathogen, this amphibian pathogen is spread by humans, right? So no place that we go. Oh, let me. There's another thing I wanted to read. Excuse me, hopping around today. The other article I wanted to cover today, again, about humans driving, more species and animals to extinction. Highways are driving cougars to inbreeding and extinction in Southern California. This is from Motherboard. From March 20th, 2019. Southern California's mountain lions are on track to be wiped out within 50 years. And that's, 50 years is not, try 10 or 20. Again, extra conservative. They're probably assuming that they're going to have some kind of rebound. Mountain lions that lurk in heavily populated regions of Southern California are on track to become locally extinct within 50 years. A new study warns highways and other urban developments have fragmented the cats' habitats, making it difficult for them to find new mates. The isolation has led to inbreeding, which makes populations less resilient and viable over time, according to the research, which was led by John Benson, a vertebrate ecologist at the University of Nebraska. Benson and his colleagues studied 2 mountain lion populations that are isolated in the Santa Ana and Santa Monica mountains. Santa Monica lion population lives around North Los Angeles and is made up of about 15 cats with 8 known kittens and subadults. The Santa Ana population is further south and contains about 30 cats, 13 of which are kittens and juveniles. The team used a technique called population viability analysis, which is a statistical method of predicting if extinctions of animal groups might occur within certain timeframes. And they expected them to be gone by the 2070s. I don't know why they even give them that long. The lions, which are also known as cougars, panthers, and pumas, have been boxed into small habitats by human infrastructure, especially roads. Because they have limited mating options. The cats may experience a phenomenon called inbreeding depression, which is a decrease in fitness and survival that can cause severe endangerment and extinction. The Santa Ana population is bisected by Interstate 15. Since 2013, at least 4 cougars have been killed by cars during crossing attempts. 5 male lions are known to have successfully made it across the highway, 2 of which have sired litters of kittens. Those males may help inject some short-term diversity into the gene pool. They have since fathered kittens with their daughters and granddaughters, demonstrating that it will take more than a few crossings to keep the lion population healthy over the long term. One of the Santa Monica lions, called P22, is famous in LA because he crossed multiple highways in order to claim territory near the Hollywood sign in Griffith Park. Unfortunately, there are no females for him to breed with there, and he remains a loner. If we do not get humans out of the wildlife or out of the wild soon, and of course, things being what they are and things progressing as they are progressing, it may be too late for anything, but one of the things that we absolutely have to do is stop allowing humans to just be wherever they want to be. And I think that actually applies to local wilderness, not these far off, like these forests, in Utah and New Mexico. Way away from, the maddening hordes. We should be, making wildlife sanctuaries. I'm sure that they are, but, there are wildlife sanctuaries, but we allow people to come in and go hiking and do all their stuff and eat lunch and picnics. Like real wildlife sanctuaries, which are like no humans past this point, not allowed. So sorry. That needs to happen like real quick. And I can even think the mountains right above where I live would be a great place to start doing stuff like that. We literally allow humans to run across the top of the mountains, to hike wherever they want, to camp wherever they want, to forage and go wherever they want. And there are cougars up in these mountains who have been sighted, and some cougar attacks. There was actually a famous cougar attack a few months ago where a bike rider like fought off a cougar in Colorado, and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, good for him." Yeah, good for him. But we just shouldn't be going everywhere that we want to go. We shouldn't be in all the places that we think that we should be, especially if we're like, ooh, nature, it's for us. It's for us to go out and do whatever we want to do. And, you know, like, that has to stop. That thinking has to stop. Like, we need to just leave it the fuck alone. Go away. Let it alone. Let the animals and the plants let them be and do their thing and get the hell out. There are plenty of places for us to go. Plenty of places for us to be. You know, you guys, you know, humans over here, wildlife over here. Don't know if that's everything that I wanted to cover. One moment. Lastly, an interesting techno fix that somebody sent my way. I can't remember who, because this is a little older, but it's from October of 2018. A Spanish company found a way to produce a fuel without emitting CO2. So that's, I guess, good news. And it's made of sewage. Spanish company Ingelia has developed an industrial process to produce biocarbon fuel, which can be made using sewage. The resulting product burns like coal, but the actual production is carbon neutral, and it has a considerably lower production of harmful waste such as nitrogen, sulfur, and chlorine. By turning organic waste into a biocarbon that doesn't emit CO2 or the pollutants when produced, Ingelia may have found more sustainable energy source than traditional coal. Hold on one second, but is this... Oh, this is about biochar. Sorry, strike that, reverse that. I didn't actually read down below. But it looks like it's a form of biochar. As long as it's not using, you know, trees that need to be cut down. So if it's actually using sewage, under specific pressure and temperature conditions, 20 bars and 200 Celsius, we dehydrated the organic matter and siphon off the humid matter in liquid form, explains the CEO. In other words, we concentrate 95% of the carbon in the waste. The co-founder also noted that the bad smells produced as a byproduct of the composting process are avoided by containing the treatment of the waste matter in a closed tank, allowing plants to be situated closer to population centers. Let's see. Company has already outsourced their process to waste plants in Spain, UK, and Italy. In fact, Italy's largest sewage manager has also implemented the process in their Tuscany plant, where they treat 80,000 tons of sewage per year in the Belgian town of Oostende. 2 is set to have a plant that treats 20,000 tons of organic waste matter with 4 reactors. Does that mean poop? I'm just waiting for a real breakdown. Are they talking about poop? I don't know. Anyways, interesting stuff. I'm going to link this below. Maybe you guys might find it interesting. Maybe not. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. If you'd like to support this channel, you can do so at the links below. If anybody receives their t-shirt in the next couple of days, if you could, just let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Say I got the shirt, whatever, or send me a picture. You can totally do that. That would be awesome. Just confirmation that y'all getting your shirts. Until next time, peace.